Funke Kolesho'S is an avid lover of Nigerian food after having learned the techniques of traditional Nigerian cooking from a very young age. She was born in Nigeria but moved to the United Kingdom, where her methods of cooking and presenting Nigerian dishes have been influenced. She is very passionate about African cooking and believes that Nigerian food compares favorably with foods from around the world in their wholesomeness and nutritional value. She loves to entertain and thrill guests with her creative methods of cooking and food presentation. Her friends and family often refer to her as a perfect hostess. She lives in Essex with her husband and 2 children. Funke is my guest on the Justeve Show. Welcome back to the Justeve Show. If you're just joining us, we're in the home of a very special friend of mine. She's a food technologist, she's a food manufacturer, and she's also an author of a cookery book, and that's in the person of Funke Kolesho'S. Good to have you on the show.
Hello, nice to see you.
You're looking good.
Thank you so much. We should have done this last year.
Yes, we should have. My apologies, but we're here now.
Yes.
And you're going to cook for us.
Yes.
What are you going to cook for us?
I'll be making something very basic, Nigerian favourite, rice and stew.
Okay. And what does that entail?
I want to demonstrate how you can make this in a twinkle of an eye. In no time at all.
I'm personally looking forward to that rice and
Yes.
stew in a twinkle of an eye. Okay, let's get to it.
Okay. All you need is just your rice.
Okay.
A bit of onion. You don't have to add onions if you don't want to, but I just enjoy that bit of extra crunch in my stew. And then you need this little baby here.
So what's this? Now you've this, when we say you're a food manufacturer, this is your product.
Yes.
So what is it?
This is my solution to hours and hours of cooking or labor, slavering at the stove, basically. Because you know, as I know, that to cook some of our dishes, you do require that, time.
Okay, so but what inspired you to do this? Is it because of the length of time that we have to
when I was growing up, I'm the first of 6 children. When I was growing up, I saw my mom apply a technique that used to reduce the amount of time that she spent in the kitchen. And what she did was to blend all the peppers and onions and all the other ingredients together, and she would cook it for a while, just a very short while, and then freeze it. So when she now wants to make the proper lunch or dinner, all she just needed was to take a portion of that and use it to cook the meal of the day. And that used to, save so much time and effort. It was unbelievable. So when I got here, and as you know, that in England, you do not have time because you have so many things to pursue, like your career, your family life. So I have done this. I've also been using my mom's technique of cooking the peppers and just freezing it until the time I needed to use it.
Okay, so what basically is in here?
It's just the regular ingredients that we use.
Okay.
Red peppers, tomatoes, onions.
So you do that, you blend that at home and then bottle it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't do that. I used to freeze it. But because I saw that I have a lot of friends who sort of pursue very, very serious careers. They don't have that much time to be the dutiful housewife. And we were talking one time and said, how I wish we could, have this sort of thing available as, the other sort of cuisines. Italian cuisine, for instance, have pasta sauces, which reduces the amount of time that it would take to make a pasta sauce. So that was one of my, inspirations to
get this
get this out. Yes, as I said earlier, I already practiced this. Based on what my mom showed me. I just thought, it would be nice if people had access to it as well. So yeah, this is
okay. So let's see how it goes.
Okay. So as I said, all you need is just one jar, and you might want to add a few onions if you want. So you put your pan on. very, very small amount of oil. I like to use this sort of bottle to measure my oil because it helps me to regulate the amount of oil that I add. So just about 2 or 3 spoons of oil. But if you want your stew really fried, you know, I know Nigerians like fried stew where the oil kind of sort of
comes up,
floats up. So then obviously you need to put more oil. But I would advise you to use a very healthy oil, like coconut oil is very good.
Okay.
Or avocado oil. So a bit of onion there. Let that sizzle and brown a little bit.
Now, you know, we have this, you know, when you go into a supermarket, you find out that on, we know how many calories are in, you know, in different foods here in the Western world.
Yes.
We don't know that with our African food. I understand that you've been able to do some research on it. So what's, for instance, like the stew and everything that we're going to have now, at the end of the whole thing, you'll be able to tell us how many calories are in there. Yes.
Well, the nutritional data for this particular sauce is on the jar. But for Nigerian foods generally, I've got a mobile app which is called Cook Nigerian. It's on iTunes, and you can download it on your iPhone or your iPad. And it has a whole list of favorite Nigerian food ingredients and foods where I've actually researched to find out what the calorie content of all this.
But how would you know? Because how authentic is this research? Because we know that we're one of the biggest continents, yes. But how authentic is it if you are going to tell me that there's, for argument's sake, 100 calories in this?
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
how do you...
For this particular one, I've had to pay to get the details out for this one. But for the general one, as I was mentioning to you in my app, it's been a compilation of all the information that is out there. Believe it or not, there are lots of researchers that Nigerian professors in Nigeria, you know, places like IITA in Nigeria, they carry out lots of researches, and you can actually get information from journals. So if you can buy the journals, or you can sign up to receive regular updates from them. I also am a member of, you know, organizations who are, you know, are into food and nutrition, and you get all this information. Plus, we're not the only ones that eat most of this food. The plantain exists in other places. Nigerians have not taken it on themselves to dig out the information.
But the sweets, let's eat.
Exactly, but other people have. And, you know, I have been able to source this information and apply it to our foods. So, yes, I haven't carried out all the chemical research by myself. I don't have the money. Why should I? I mean, there's tons of Nigerian food. But what I have done is to make a careful compilation of all the different, you know, food ingredients that we have and their nutritional data. And, you know, they are, you know, I'm not going to say 100% accurate, but they are very accurate, more than 90%. Because, as I said, it's comparison with, you know, works that lots of, you know, Nigerian professors have carried out based in Nigeria.
So I'm still baffled at the interest that you have about food and everything that is about food.
So I'm just going to pour the sauce in there now. As you can see, it's a very thick sauce. You know, you don't need to add water. You don't need to add anything. All you need to do is just let that sizzle and just leave it to just simmer.
So that's
all you need to do. If you've got your meat, you can add it at this stage. Cooked meat, that is, not raw meat. Add it at this stage and just let it simmer. Just leave it. It would, you know, the oil will soon, you know, it would fry up. So the next step will be for us to cook the rice. And both of them can sort of cook together. So boil some water in here. Oops. Add the water into the pan. I've got 2 cups of water here. Now I like to, this is not the Nigerian rice or anything. It's It's a Chinese. No, it's actually long grain, but it's not the easy cook type.
Oh, okay.
And it's a Chinese. There's a characteristic of this which makes me really like it. It's a bit starchy. It's also quite sticky, and I do like that kind of rice. I don't always like my rice to be single, maybe in the jollof rice. But when I'm eating rice and stew, I like the
like kind of moldy bit of
our own rice or father rice, kind of stickiness. I do sometimes love that. Since I can't always find a father. I like this one in particular. So all we do is, I mean, you can wash if you want, but I don't wash it.
Well, some people would like to wash it to take off the starch.
The extra starch. Yeah, but you can actually soak that to take out the extra starch. But I'm telling you, I mean, I don't like to wash it. It's just very convenient. As I said, I'm trying to save time.
So what would be the calories in this?
In the rice? Depends. I don't know by heart, but rice, 100 grams, I think you'd expect about 200 calories. I think 260 or something like that in a gram of rice. Yeah. So yeah, I would allow that to boil. I'll put a bit of salt in it, just a teensy bit. Let it boil first, and then I'll shut it all down and let it steam through. That's the best way to cook rice without burning it. Okay,
I see some other sauces here. Apart from I can see fried rice.
Well, aside from the sauce which I make, I also have a couple of spices. This is the fried rice spice. I also have the suya spice, which is that one, and the third one, which I'll be using with that, is the jollof rice. Oh, so this is. I thought that sauce was just it. You're still going to use this. Well, you can, because it's very difficult to strike a balance with sauces like this. Some people, their preference for salt. We all have different preferences for salt. So at home, if you were cooking this, you can either use that just to give you to lift it up. Okay, for somebody like me that doesn't cook with salt. Well, exactly. So you don't need to add any more salt to that. Okay. Yeah. That's one of the things that we thought about when we were designing the sauce, was to take care of some of the health issues that already facing us as a race, which is the intake of salt. We have to put Maggi and all that enough. There's nothing wrong with that. But too much of it, obviously. That's why I don't use salt at all, for any of the stews or soups. I don't cook with salt at all. Wow. At all. Well, I just use my condiments and that's it. Okay. So yeah, you don't need. Well, if you have your own condiments, you can sort of add that to it. Just to balance it out. I mean, just the way that you do your normal pasta sauce. Once you buy your pasta sauce at home, you still need to add a bit of extra salt, or just that extra thing that you prefer to sort of get from you. So that is bubbling through, and what I've done is just shut it down now. It's going to steam through. Okay. So, and that is also simmering. So we just need to wait for that to. Okay, and on that note, is there anything more you want to add? Well, obviously you don't want to eat your rice and stew plain. As you would expect, Nigeria, they will probably have some chicken or some beef. Oh, we love our beef and all. Yeah, exactly. But again, because we're cutting, looking for ways to save time, I'm just going to put a bit of prawns in it, and I've got some extra large jumbo, tiger prawns. They're raw, and we're just going to saute them and serve with the rice. Okay. We would love to take a break right now. When we come back, I'm sure dinner will be served. We're getting to meet Funke a lot more. She's going to tell us about her growing up years, why she got into doing what she's doing, and her really good love of food. So you don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break. You cannot get cholesterol from any plant source. You cannot get cholesterol from any plant source. You can only get it from animal source, like the beef, chicken, all those sort of things. So it's for my genuine interest in making information available and trying to tell people there's nothing wrong with Nigerian food. Obviously, you have to eat in moderation. This is the way I like it. It's perfectly done. But the other time that I like it to be really cooked and chewy, then we want to leave it for a couple more minutes. Cooked perfect. This is really the way I like my rice. I remember growing up and on the streets of, I grew up in a place called Ilasa near Mushi in Nigeria. There's a lot of bukas around, and I very, very much remember an old lady who used to sell rice with very, very black fried stew, and her rice used to look like this. You know, it's not grainy. It's kind of sticking together, but not lumpy.
Okay, let's go back to the very beginning. Now you're growing up years. What was that like?
Okay. As I said earlier, I am the first of 6 children. And as soon as I was, tall enough to reach the stove, I was already cooking. I was always very fascinated with cooking. I always loved to help my mom, even though we did have lots of people that would help out. But I just wanted to learn how to cook. So from a very early age, I've grown to love food and the art of cooking. I went on to do a degree in food technology. Because I wanted to apply the use of technology to how we can either enhance the flavor of food or preserve it for longer, or to help us to get the maximum out of it in terms of taste and nutrition. So my first degree is in food science. I did work placements in places like Cadbury and Guinness back in Nigeria at the time. Yes.
So that means that you're, out of a lot of my guests, you're the one person who has gone to school and is practicing what you studied.
Well, for a while I didn't practice what I studied, because as you know, when you come into another, I got married and my husband wanted to live here, so I had to come and join him. And when I came here, I wasn't able to practice my food technology. I had to retrain in order to fit in and some salary. So I went into the IT career for a while. I actually did reasonably well in it. I worked in places like the Halifax Bank, and when I finished my degree I got onto their graduate training scheme, and I did a couple of years with them before I moved. And that was that was up north in a place called Halifax. There's actually a town called Halifax.
I know about Halifax.
Yeah.
So you're how many kids do you have?
I've got 2.
2, and boy and girl.
I've got a boy and a girl. Yes.
Are they taken to?
My daughter is taking to it. She can bake. She follows some of my recipes to make even food for her dad. If I'm not home yet and they're hungry, they're happy to just take one jar and make pasta sauce for themselves, or just make something similar to what we're eating now and boil some rice and eat with it. Okay,
let's talk about your book.
Yeah.
Contemporary Nigerian cuisine. What does that mean?
My thinking at the time was, as I said earlier, I was really disturbed when my daughter, was coming up with things like, oh, we can eat chips. I can feed chips and chicken to my children when they grow up, or when I have them. Got me thinking, well, that's just got to be wrong, I love my Nigerian food. I can eat all the orishi of the food world, but I always come back to my Nigerian food. My husband is a typical African man. He likes his, food. In a week, if he's not having Nigeria, I don't care. He was like, been eating, well, we've just been snacking, haven't we? So, in a way that and I really like that about Nigerians generally. I know a lot more people, my husband's friends, when they come, I love to entertain them because I just like it when I cook and people will say, I like this, what did you know? So, going back to why, once my daughter was beginning to say things like, this is what I'm going to be cooking for my own kids, I just thought, there's got to be something that I have to do. I was compiling all my recipes just for the hope that she can take them. And when I showed people, they encouraged me to, Funke, there could be a lot of people that might be interested in this kind of food. And that, from there I started to investigate the possibility of, of making it available to as many people as would want it. And people in my daughter's category, people who were born here, and are not necessarily, would not necessarily like to eat Nigerian food just because of the way it looks perhaps, or just because it's kind of relegated somehow. I don't know why, but so I thought maybe putting some creativity into it, representing Nigerian food and applying elements of nutrition and healthy eating or health. Those are the sort of things I had in mind when I decided to publish that book.
Okay, now your app that has the calorie count. Now this is a very, very worrisome topic to me, especially because for instance, I come from the delta part of Nigeria, where we have this wonderful delicacy called banga soup, which happens to be my favorite soup. And they say it's not good for the heart. So you tell me about that, since you...
I'll tell you not to listen to them. Banga soup, the main ingredient of banga soup is palm oil. I actually took it upon myself to research palm oil. I'm not just talking because I have to talk. I have researched palm oil. There's nothing wrong with it in terms of its health benefit. Let me say, palm oil has no cholesterol. Palm oil has no cholesterol. A lot of people say, oh, don't eat palm oil, there's too much cholesterol, there's this. There's no, it's all rubbish. People have not really taken their time to research. They hear just the buzzwords, that's all that's good for them, and then they start to react. You cannot get cholesterol from any plant source. You cannot get cholesterol from any plant source. You can only get it from animal source, like your beef, chicken, all those sort of things. So palm oil has the highest levels of vitamin A in nature. It has the highest. It has vitamin E as well, which is also a very powerful antioxidant. And even, you see, the banga soup is done in such a way that it hasn't even gone through any chemical processes, because you plug the kernel direct the way God has intended. And somebody tells you, well, with everything, moderation, obviously, because it does have its calorie. And in nutrition, you have things called essential fats or fatty acids. You have essential amino acids. And those are the places you can get this essential fatty acids. Essential because your body doesn't make it. You need to feed it to your body. So palm oil is one source of those sort of.
What other food myths are there that you know are wrong? Well, they're myths. That's what they're called myths about our food that people complain about.
Well, they said our food is too starchy. Yes, our food is starchy. Yes, I mean there's a lot. There's pounded yam, which is starchy. Well, there's bread as well, and there's pasta, and there's rice. I have a sister-in-law. She's Thai. All they eat is rice. So I don't know why our food is actually looked down upon so much. But then on the other hand, more people are finding out the truth. There's a program in America that a person called Dr. Oz does. Have you heard of him?
Yeah.
He actually did a research on palm oil where he was saying that recommended daily intake is 2 spoons a day.
Wow.
Yeah, if you want to grow younger from within. There's a lot of propaganda happen because some people are trying to make profit somewhere, so they've got to discredit, something else in order to give their product or their, whatever they're selling, the advantage.
Okay, and are you doing anything to demystify these myths? Let me put it that way.
That's why I have a blog. I mean that's app as well. Actually, that's one of the things I wanted to happen. You people, look at this. Look, this is the food you're eating. A gram of pounded yam will yield this amount of calories. Don't just eat blindly. So I've made the information. Well, I've tried to make information available. So when people have heard this myth, then they can, they have a source where they can sort of, make. It's just like a guide or a reference, or and it's something that can be trusted. I haven't done the blog, for instance. It's not for profit or anything. It's for my genuine interest in making information available and trying to tell people there's nothing wrong with Nigerian food. Obviously, you have to eat in moderation. As with any cuisine in the world, all of them have their own, problems. But for some reason, ours is more pronounced. And sadly, even us, I know some people say, I would never eat palm oil. And I said, well, your loss. It's your loss because you're missing out. And just putting in the biblical or the Christian angle into it, I think God has, I always say to my kids, I go to the shops, I buy all these things for you, and I think they're good for you, that's why I bought them. But obviously you've got to know limits of what you can and you cannot. That's the way I think God has created so many things for us to enjoy. Eating is part of our of the enjoyment of life, and I think God has been so wonderful to give us all these different textures and flavors and tastes. It would be wrong for anyone to say, God made that. But why? People should research and take it upon themselves to find out about what they've heard, not just say, it's not good, I'm not touching it. It's wrong because you're the one that's going to miss out.
Okay, time is fast spent. We have to go. I've enjoyed my meal. I'm going to, when the camera shuts down, I'm going to finish it so that you don't see my mouth and see how I eat at home. Well, so good for you to let us into your home today. Very grateful.
It's my pleasure.
And we'll put all your details on the screen where people can go. The app, so that our people begin to become aware of what we're eating and what we should eat in moderation and what we should enjoy and all of that.
Yes.
Thanks so much, Funke, for having us.
Thank you very much. It's been my pleasure.
All right, that's our show for today. Thank you very much for being with us. We'd like to say a big thank you to the man up there, because without him there wouldn't have been you and there wouldn't have been me. I'll say thank you to you because without you there wouldn't be me. And I'm sure we'll do this again sometime soon. Till then, go out and enjoy our food. See you. Bye. Thank you.